So, Book 11 is called The Gathering of Shades, and it's way out here on the edge of the world. So, for the ancient Greeks, this would be their world. The Mediterranean Ocean is everything they knew. And once you passed out here through the Strait of Gibraltar, they called this the Pillars of Hercules. Once you passed out here into the open ocean, they just assumed the world ended somewhere out here. It was the edge of the world. And historians believe that active volcanoes thousands of years ago out near the Canary Islands, you would have, had you ventured far enough out there, if you were brave enough, you would have seen the smoke and the lava rising from these volcanoes and would have assumed, well, there's the underworld, time to turn back, time to turn around. So Circe has instructed Odysseus to head out here with his crew to build this little pit and pour some blood in it and do the hokey pokey, and then these ghosts will come to talk to him, and he has to find the ghost Tiresias, the famous prophet from Thebes, and talk to Tiresias, and he will tell Odysseus how to get home. So let's open our books. Okay, so Book 11, A Gathering of Shades. I'm actually going to start right here on line 15. By night our ship ran onward toward the ocean's bourne, the edge, the realm and region of the men of winter, hidden in the mist and cloud. Never the flaming eye of Helios lights on those men at morning, when he climbs the sky of stars, nor in descending earthward out of heaven, ruinous night being rove over those wretches. We made the land, put ram and ewe ashore, and took our way along the ocean stream to find the place foretold for us by Circe. There, Paramedes and Eurylochus pinioned the sacred beasts. With my drawn blade, I spaded up the voted pit, poured libations round it to the unnumbered dead, sweet milk and honey, and then sweet wine, and last clear water, and I scattered barley down. Then I addressed the blurred and breathless dead, vowing to slaughter my best heifer for them before she calved at home in Ithaca, and burn the choice bits on the altar fire. As for Tiresias, I swore to sacrifice a black lamb, handsomest of all our flock. Thus to assuage the nations of the dead, I pledged these rites, and then slashed the lamb and ewe, letting their black blood stream into the well pit. Now the souls gathered, stirring out of Erebos brides and young men, and men grown old in pain, and tender girls whose hearts were new to grief. Many were there too, torn by brazen lancehead, battle-slain, bearing still their bloody gear, and from every side they came and sought the pit with rustling cries, and I grew sick with fear. But presently I gave command to my officers to flay those sheep the bronze cut down, and make burnt offerings of flesh to the gods below, to sovereign death and pale Persephone. So I hope you got the picture here. It's kind of a like do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around thing here. So he's got to dig this pit. He puts the blood in the pit. He's, certain things you got to pour around the outside. And then all of these ghosts just start crowding around Odysseus. And he says he has to use his sword to hold them off. I know, don't think too hard about it. I don't know how the sword's going to keep a ghost away. But, what are you going to do? Kill me? They're already dead. But here he is. He's waiting for the very specific ghost, Tiresias. He says, meanwhile, I crouched with my drawn sword to keep the surging phantoms from the bloody pit, till I should know the presence of Tiresias. One shade came first. Elpenor of our company. This is kind of funny, right? He looks over and he recognizes one of the ghosts as one of his own guys. It'd be a little surprising, like, oh, what are you doing here? He lay unburied still on the wide earth as we had left him, dead in Circe's hall. Oops. Untouched, unmourned when other cares compelled us. Now, when I saw him there, I wept for pity, and called out to him, how is this, Elpenor? How could you journey to the western gloom, swifter of foot than I in the black lugger? That is to say, how'd you beat us here? I didn't even know you were dead. I didn't even notice you were gone. Elpenor sighed and answered, son of great Laertes, Odysseus, master mariner and soldier, Bad luck shadowed me, and no kindly power. Ignoble death I drank with so much wine. I slept on Circe's roof, and then could not see the long, steep backward ladder coming down, and fell that height. My neck bone buckled under, snapped, and my spirit found this well of dark. Now hear the grace I pray for, in the name of those back in the world, not here, your wife and father, he who gave you bread in childhood, and your own child, your only son, Telemachus, long ago left at home. Elpenor says, yeah, you left me back at Circe's, right? I got drunk, I fell off the roof, I snapped my neck, and I beat you here. But you guys, you left with it without doing anything for my body. And so here's his request. When you make sail and put these lodgings of dim death behind, you will moor your ship, I know, upon Aia Island. That's Circe's island. There, O my lord, remember me, I pray. Do not abandon me unwept, unburied, to tempt the gods' wrath while you sail for home. But fire my corpse and all the gear I had, and build a cairn for me above the breakers, an unknown sailor's mark for men to come. Heap up the mound there, and implant upon it the oar I pulled in life with my companions. So, it looks like they are going back to Circe's when they're done here. Take care of their buddy Elpenor, who they forgot, whose body is just lying there. He ceased, and I replied, unhappy spirit, I promise you the borrow and the burial. So we conversed, and grimly at a distance, with my long sword between, guarding the blood, while the faint image of the lad spoke on. Now came the soul of Anticlea, dead, my mother, daughter of Autolycos, dead now, though living still when I took ship for holy Troy. Seeing this ghost, I grieved, but held her off through pang on pang of tears. Wow, what a way to find out that your mom is no longer alive, right? To see her in the underworld. He doesn't want to talk to her yet. Next time, we'll talk to mom. But he notices her off to the side, and you can imagine how sad that would be, you know. But he needs to talk to Tiresias. So he says, soon from the dark that prince of Thebes came forward, bearing a golden staff. And he addressed me, son of Laertes and the gods of old, Odysseus, master of land ways and sea ways. Why leave the blazing sun, O man of woe, to see the cold dead in the joyless region? Stand clear, put up your sword, let me but taste of blood. I shall speak true. At this I stepped aside, and in the scabbard let my long sword ring home to the pommel silver, as he bent down to the somber blood. Then spoke the prince of those with gift of speech. Great captain, a fair wind and the honey lights of home are all you seek. But anguish lies ahead. The god who thunders on the land prepares it. The god who thunders on the land is the earthquake god. The earthquake god is the god of the sea. The god of the sea is Poseidon. He says not to be shaken from your track, implacable and rancor for the son whose eye you blinded. Whoopsies. One narrow strait may you take through his blows. Okay, this is very important. At this point, Tiresias is going to set up this metaphor. You want to get past Poseidon? It's like going through a strait between two bodies of land. You got to do this just right. And he's going to outline 4 things Odysseus has to do in order to get back to his home. Denial of yourself. Odysseus isn't really good at denying himself. I mean, just look at the fact that he spent a year at Circe's. Restraint of shipmates. He's not super great at that either. Then when you make landfall on Thrinacia first and quit the violet sea, dark on the land you'll find the grazing herds of Helios, by whom all things are seen, all speech is known. Number 3, avoid those kine. K-I-N-E. It means cattle. So don't touch the sun god's cows. And then finally, hold fast to your intent. Don't lose focus, right? Keep your priorities straight. And he says, you do those 4 things. Deny yourself, restrain your shipmates, avoid the sun god's cows, and hold fast to your intent. And hard seafaring brings you all to Ithaca. But, of course, there's a big but. But if you raid the beeves, beeves is an old word that is plural for beef, I see destruction for ship and crew. Though you survive alone, bereft of all companions, lost for years, under strange sail shall you come home, to find your own house filled with trouble. Insolent men eating your livestock as they court your lady. Aye, you shall make those men atone in blood, but after you have dealt out death in open combat or by stealth to all the suitors, go overland on foot and take an oar until one day you come where men have lived with meat unsalted, never known the sea, nor seen sea-going ships with crimson bows and oars that fledge light hulls for dipping flight. The spot will soon be plain to you, and I can tell you how. Some passer-by will say, what winnowing fan is that upon your shoulder? You get it? Because he's going to say you have to walk with a ship oar as far inland as possible until you're so far away from the ocean that nobody knows what a ship oar is, and they're like, what's that fan on your shoulder? Halt and implant your smooth oar in the turf and make fair sacrifice to Lord Poseidon. A ram, a bull, a great buck boar, turn back and carry out pure hecatombs at home to all wide heaven's lords, the undying gods, to each in order. Then a sea-born death, soft as this hand of mist, will come upon you when you are wearied out with rich old age, your country folk in blessed peace around you. And all this shall be just as I foretell. So according to Tiresias, he's going to have to say eventually he's sorry to Poseidon. When he had done, I said at once, Tiresias, my life runs on then as the gods have spun it. But come now, tell me this, make this thing clear. I see my mother's ghost among the dead, sitting in silence near the blood. Not once has she glanced this way toward her son, nor spoken. Tell me, my lord, may she in some way come to know my presence? And to this he answered, I shall make it clear in a few words and simply. Any dead man whom you allow to enter where the blood is will speak to you, and speak the truth. But those deprived will grow remote again and fade. And when he had prophesied, Tiresias' shade retired lordly to the halls of death. But I stood fast until my mother stirred. All right, so he's not ready to leave. He has his prophecy, right? Got to do 4 things. Deny himself, restrain his shipmates, don't touch the sun god's cows, and hold fast to his intent. He does those 4 things, he gets home. He doesn't do them, it's going to be long years still before he gets home. And when he does get home, there's going to be trouble at home. People are going to be trying to marry his wife, all that. But then here Tiresias says, okay, you want to talk to any of these ghosts? You can. You just have to let them in to drink the blood. Gross. And they will tell you the truth. So in the next thing we'll read, we'll get a bunch of famous ghosts and we'll interview them. Okay.